It is Wednesday, August 27th. We're at the fire station at 6 p.m. The Public Safety Commission meeting. They printed everything for me, huh? Every single one of them. Oh, multiple copies. Here we go. Why do I have so many copies of this back? Okay. I will take a roll call. First, I will say, if anybody else is recording this meeting, please let the Public Safety Commission know. Anybody in the room recording? Chief, you recording this for your own?
Absolutely not.
Okay, sure. Nobody, it looks like nobody's joined us Zoom wise, so we're good there. I will take a roll call. Commissioner Illinois.
Present.
Commissioner Jarvis.
Present.
Moss Caratolo is here. Commissioner Birch.
Present.
Commissioner Braff.
Present.
Commissioner Dixon.
Present.
Great, we're all here. You have a quorum. I don't have meeting minutes prepared, so we will not do July meeting minutes. We'll do them next time. If that's okay. I'll open the floor up for public comments. Anybody in your room like to come up and speak?
Just a heads up that we're having some trouble getting people into the meeting,
Oh, you are?
so they're working on
Chief
it.
Strand just texted, said that he could not get in, so.
Okay. So you're working on it, so we'll save public comment like till later on.
Why don't you need to be here?
Thanks for teaching us.
Sure. Does he have the, do you think he has all the login information? We've had a little trouble the last couple of weeks with the system. So
It'll be okay, we can.
I'll let you guys work on. Is it recording the meeting though? Are we recording?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll skip public comment. We'll save that till later on till we think folks are on. Doesn't look like there's anybody right now. All right, so we will welcome AMR up to the podium. That's what you want to call it?
Unfortunately, I'm short one copy, but I sent it electronically to you.
Yeah,
I just
you-
made hand copies.
You can pass them out to, yeah. Yeah, you can pass them out to them. I have it. I can bring it up on my laptop.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Just state who you are. We know you, but the Zoom people watching might not know you next week when they watch it, so.
No problem.
Welcome.
Kim D'Angelo, the operations manager for AMR.
And Mark Pride Operations, Field Supervisor.
Welcome. And we know Patrick's on a business trip, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
He was gonna join online. He might pop up if it works.
That'll be great. All right. The floor is yours.
All right, so we are winding back down from the summer, which is nice to see. This past June and July, we're incredibly busy for responses. We average around
Grab one.
450, give or take, for requests a month. We were up in the 480s for the whole summer, so that was a significantly increased call volume. It's nice to see in August, we're starting to come back down a little bit. But great partnership as always with the first responders. The nice part about coming into the fall is seeing a lot of the community events that are popping back up. So we recently supported medical coverage for the triathlon that they had. And then we are also contracted to provide coverage for the high school football games that'll be starting up next month too. So
Great.
our crews are excited for that. Still a change of pace for them, but yeah, and I know I just received a big list of questions about the contract. I will work on it and get you some answers back shortly. Or I can go through some. How would you prefer?
Well, first, is everybody good with the stats for any questions on the stats for this one has 2 Junes. So that's okay, I already looked at it. Did you give us June and July? Was it June
Yeah,
and
there
July?
were
you passed out?
2.
You have all of June and July?
July and July.
You got July and July?
You
Great.
got June, I
You
got
can see
July.
July's.
I have June and
We
July.
had no idea.
We're playing musical chairs here, folks.
June.
I needed
June. There you go.
I needed July.
No, I had July now, I had June, I gave it away.
We're good.
I'll
You
take
understand
June.
we was
I looked at it online.
Yeah, I sent it out
We'll
online.
package them better next.
No, I think we passed them out.
What I know.
So any questions on the stats for the 2 months? And I know I keep asking this, but the floating car with the paramedic, is that
The flagger.
my car? Can you just talk about that, and update us? a little
Yeah,
bit on
it's-
that? As we know it's new and.
Rebid all of our staff. We do it every fall. The shift bid goes live September 6th, with the start of the flag we posted up here. We're really going to be a little bit flexible in the beginning based on volume to see the need, but right now we're looking at Monday through Friday of staffing the vehicle. What's wrong? 11
11
to
to
7,
7.
11 A to 7 B.
11,
So we're kind of looking for the highest 911 volume time where we're sending BLS units to 911 requests or passing calls back to Greenfield Fire, so they would accompany it to make their response ALS instead.
that's great. I'm looking forward to that starting. Keep us posted. Yeah, so folks have selected that, so like, through bid, the.
So because of the hours, since they're a little bit flexible,
Yeah.
that's open for them to pick up for
Oh.
additional shifts.
Oh,
So
okay.
we haven't bid it yet. If it's not filled, it would be covered by the supervisor out here, but the flag guys are a hot commodity usually, so
Yeah.
we don't foresee it having issues in filling.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that. All right, I think we're good there. So we were gonna review and talk about the contract,
Sure.
because we want to get to a point where we're giving the mayor a positive or a negative recommendation towards that. So I know Gary has a list of questions, Commissioner Graff came up with a list of questions. I don't know if they could be all answered tonight or not. If they can't be answered tonight, we'll have to do a motion next month. I think it was a 3-month extension. 4-month extension.
Yeah, it's through August.
So it's through August, so
Yeah.
this would really be the month we wanna
Why don't we just go through it?
approve it.
I would, so I don't, I mean,
Again, I'm sorry.
say, why don't we just go through it? We've got some new questions.
Yeah, we can go through it, that's fine. Yeah. Does any other commissioners have questions on it before we start? Okay, so why don't we go through the questions, and see if we could, get this thing, I mean, eventually we will have if we have to make some changes, that contract can be sent to us and we could review it, if they're major, but let's go through it. Commissioner Brack, do you wanna take the lead on your questions?
Actually, I was gonna ask them if they would just read through the questions and then refer to the sections and answer why or how, because I'm not familiar with
Okay,
the contract process, but I'd like to know certain things so that we can get our mayor on the track as well, because we're advisory. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So if you go ahead and
So the questions given to us tonight, page 1, paragraph 1.
do you need a copy of the contract? Can it help you?
The paper version would be great. We can look together.
You can take it.
Sure, thanks. All right, page 1, paragraph 1, line 12. Section about subcontracting. Has the section about subcontracting changed between prior years' agreements and now? And the point of concern is if this puts AMR in charge of mutual aid providers of Greenfield. So if there's a need for mutual aid for the city of Greenfield and we don't have any ambulance available, that call gets passed back to Greenfield Dispatch and they handle mutual aid. And that has not changed. That's consistent process currently.
so it's just a callback kind of thing.
Yes, we call back to Greenfield Dispatch. We still EMD the call, but we pass the call back.
Yeah.
Number 2, page 1, paragraph 2. Formatting. I'm having to adjust, not tab, same as other outnumbered paragraphs. Page 1, paragraph 2, CAD. CAD is not defined before the acronym is used. What is CAD? CAD is a computer aided dispatch. It's a system that we use in our communication center. Same for PSAP. PSAP stands for Public Safety Answering Point, which is where the 911 calls come in through.
Okay,
And we can add definitions in.
We're asking for definitions
Or
before we're using an acronym so that in the contract it's clear.
Sure,
Thank you.
At least spelled out.
yeah, absolutely. Number 4, page 1, paragraph 3, lines 1 and 2. Office or base as in place to serve apparatus and personnel. Please define elements as to what makes something an office or base, such as the ability to service and supply rigs and support and train teams. We use it interchangeably. Our base / office is all one area. We have offices where a supervisor has a spot. There's rooms for the crews to have their own private areas. There's kitchen and like living room type area, crew quarters for them to have space for downtime when they're not on calls. And then we also have a large classroom where we hold classes up here.
So they're interchangeable, you're
Yes.
saying?
It's just your office in Greenfield, basically.
He said suggest adding dedicated to pre-hospital emergency services right after week in line 2 to 3, where it says 2 ALS units 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's something that if you want to add it, because you think it's good for the contract, that's great. Again, we're looking at your opinion on that.
Sure, so we do have 2 trucks for 24 hours. They do some inter-hospital work as well, so while it's the same vehicles and the same crews, at times they will do a transfer from like Franklin to Bay State or a discharge out of Franklin, which would be not pre-hospital, it's ups at that point.
Is there coverage for pre-hospital if they leave on the?
Yes, of
transfers?
course. Yep. And then number 5, page 1 through 2, paragraph 5. Obligations of the city. The city agrees to retain AMR as the ambulance provider for all ambulance transportation, including but not limited to EMS and non-emergency medical services. How does that work with the city's initiative for, well, let me go with 1 first. Is there a question on A? As far as EMS and non?
I understand from one of the commissioners, it's a 90-day cancellation, is that correct?
For the contract?
Contract?
I believe so. Yep. No, 180.
No, it's 180 days in
180
writing.
days.
Okay.
Either-
I was told 90 days.
My mistake, my mistake.
180, yeah.
But there's a condition in the contract so the city can get out of the contract.
Paragraph 11.
I just wanted to make sure that that was cleared because I don't have anything in
It
my
work-
information.
It works both ways. It's 180
It
days.
is for both
Yeah, for both parties.
Yeah.
Yep, section 11 says each party may terminate this agreement at any time without cause and at its sole discretion upon 180 days written notice to the other party. How does this work with the city's initiative for handling mental health crisis intervention and de-escalation tactics? Our crews work very closely with the police department. We do these calls a lot. It depends how the calls come in. Sometimes the police will ask us to stand by, maybe close down the street if they're going to go in first and try to address the call and de-escalate. And depending on the type of call, sometimes we co-respond together, other times we go first, but there's definitely collaborative between both entities. This contract says the city will change its plans to fit AMR's rules. Is there a specific spot you're referring to?
Not really, because, your rules, if they're updated, they need to be stated, right?
Like our policy and procedures?
In other words, if they change it all, the mayor needs to be notified immediately, right?
We can notify the mayor.
Okay.
Sure. Alright, number 6, page 2, paragraph 5, the last line. Where it currently says all ambulance calls for non-emergency medical services such as doctor's appointments, dialysis, and nursing home transportation will be routed through the AMR Communication Center. So that is current practice. If someone's looking for non-emergency transportation, they do call our dispatch center, depending on where they're going, what the need is, kind type of insurance, the coverage that they have, and kind of how we're going to facilitate those, we'll either accept the call or we try to work to find them alternative transportation. Same section suggests adding language that says something along the lines of provision of such non-emergency services must be conducted in a manner as to not disrupt provision of this contract, focused on having 2 units available for pre-hospital emergency response. That is why we field them all through our communication center to make sure that it doesn't overlap in one truck.
Okay.
Page 2, paragraph 10. Term, the prior contract was 3 years, and this one is also 3 years. Page 2, paragraph 13. Control and instant command contradicts page 1, where it seems to suggest Greenfield having to change its policies to fit AMR. Is there a specific spot on page 1 that,
Says paragraph 13.
right, that it
It
contradicts that on
page
page
1 where
1?
it suggests Greenfield having to change its policy to fit AMR. It's just a question. I'm not saying that it needs to be addressed, but I'd like to at least bring it up and say, hey, are we looking at the same thing? Or is it contradicting from one side to the other? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so for, as far as instant command goes, we all fall under the ICS structure. We do train together, actually, myself and our communications manager were just here for the ICS EOC class that Greenfield hosted this last week, which is great. Typically, any kind of large incident, the command structure falls under the fire chief. And go under his reporting structure.
Okay, and the last one is, we believe is a typo.
Okay, page 3. For our address in Louisville, Texas, for corporate.
Says Highway 121 Suite 700 someplace.
Yep, that's
Yes.
correct.
That's
That's the
no
address.
space.
The road is 4400 State Highway 121. And then in the really big building, Suite 700 is Global Medical Response in Louisville, Texas. That one's right.
What I suggest is that if there's no real changes to the contract, if we had no real need for rewriting of any of the paragraphs, are there any objections to me making a motion to accept and proceed?
Can I have my copy back?
Yes,
Because I think I
sorry.
highlighted a few things before we do that.
Excellent.
The only thing that we would, again, we agreed that we would change is you just spell out the CAD and the PSA.
Yep, absolutely.
Before the mayor receives it. I just want to make sure, I had a couple things highlighted, but
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upstage you.
I'm just curious, do we use yours, it's not anything to change in this, but while I was reading it, do we use your supply chain ordering for stuff, for discounts? I
We
mean.
haven't in the past, but you're welcome to it.
Okay, and that's in there just because we could probably get your discounts, right, on items? Okay, that's just good to know. All right, the commissioners have any other questions? All right, so will somebody make a motion that we take a vote, or someone make a motion positive, or make a motion to make a recommendation to the commission to vote on a positive and negative recommendation?
I move that we accept and make a motion according to the changes that we suggested. That we accept and advise the mayor to sign this as acceptable.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, so you have a positive recommendation going to the mayor,
Thank
to
you.
your contract.
Good,
You want
good
it?
job.
Excellent job.
Makes it nice and
Do you
simple.
want it sent to you with the changes?
Yes, just send it to us for an advice, we'll just look at it.
Great.
Do you know when it will be sent to City Hall for the mayor to review?
I would imagine Monday morning, but let me.
Check with Patrick.
Yeah.
Tuesday morning.
I don't think the
He's
mayor's
back
gonna
in-
work
oh,
on
that's
Monday.
right. Holiday, right?
Just make sure, when you send that out, you send it to the chief too, Peter,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
of
the
course.
chief. So they can see the changes. All right, thank you, commissioners, for all your questions. Do you have anything else that?
I know, we really appreciate
Okay,
it
great.
this time.
All right, well, thank you, and thanks for your service.
Thank you.
All right, I'll like to ask the fire department to come up.
Can't wait to see this.
Hey, no pressure here.
Hold your breath.
His maiden voyage, I love it.
We gotta pressure him back tonight.
No pressure.
I think
I only have
I've
five.
given the captain a hard enough
Don't
time.
think was looking at the back of your head.
Give me a moment and I'll make a big list.
It's a side work flyer.
We won't,
Especially.
we won't give you a hard time.
How many crayons did you have to sharpen to make that?
All right, so if you could just introduce yourself to the people in Zoom so they know who you are.
Not sure there is anyone on.
Well,
I'll
they'll
introduce
watch,
myself.
they'll watch this recording like 2 weeks,
Okay.
3 weeks from now, so.
My name's Captain Kyle Phelps, and I'm here representing the chief, both the chiefs are inspecting our ladder truck in Wisconsin this week. So that's the first thing I was gonna mention, and we should be receiving that soon, and we're gonna be doing a lot of training with that new ladder truck. So I don't have the exact date for that yet, but.
Close to the end of the month, maybe?
Yep, yeah, that's what we're hoping for, so. They're doing the final inspection on that. So
Thank
I'm
you.
really looking forward to that.
How does that get transported?
They
Does it
drive.
get driven?
Yeah,
It's a long one.
yeah, long drive.
Okay.
So,
You don't write it, it's just the company.
yeah.
Pierce delivers it, nobody
So,
else.
yeah, we'll be having a lot of training with that truck
Mhm.
when we get, it's gonna be a big change. Yeah, we're really looking forward.
Great.
So I have a couple things, nothing really big here. One thing that the chief wanted to let everyone know, we switched to, for the nationwide fire reporting system, we're going to Nearest. Well, we mentioned that in the past, replacing NIFRS. So it's the National Emergency Response Information System. It's replacing the National Fire Incident Reporting System. Remember that?
Hopefully the new system's
So as
easier.
of January 1st, 2026, that's gonna be a nationwide requirement, and we actually started this a couple weeks ago in Greenfield, so we're out of the game. We had our training, and basically, the difference is it's a new modernized system that provides real-time all hazards data for it's not like the old system was really based on fire, just fires. This is like all hazards now. So it's gone from the numbers, like the 321s and all the numbers, and it's more directed towards different
Does
hazards.
MEMA get these numbers?
What's the name of it? I'm not sure.
Messages, emergency?
Not sure.
Chief will probably know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I give you a hard time about that.
Yeah. So the other thing is Senator Ed Markey was here last week with local officials to discuss regionalization of emergency services. A lot of the local officials and different fire chiefs were here. I think the mayor was also here with that. So that was exciting. So we have Captain Kimball is at the National Fire Academy and doing a command class this week. The fire department, we also hosted a couple ICS trainings here. We've been really utilizing this building. We have 3 probationary firefighters. They're halfway through the fire academy right now. So they graduate October 10th. So we're looking forward to having them back on board. It's been a long summer so far without them. We have a 4th firefighter, Alex Terrell, there's his name, that we hired, and he actually just got cleared on the ambulance, which is exciting for us. Now we're gonna start training him on firefighting, and he actually starts the fire academy the same day as the other members graduate. So other than that, we did, we worked up at the Soul Fest at the fairgrounds, did EMS detail there. So we're. You can see with our numbers, we're still busy and just plugging along. One last thing is I wanted to. I have this, you guys can have this. It's Bases and Badges third annual softball tournament that it's September 20th. And all proceeds this year will be going to the Whitney family for our brother John. And the big game of the day is at 10:15 Greenfield Fire versus Greenfield Police. So just to let you guys know, we do have a secret weapon for that day, so just be prepared. Prepared for that. And I am a player coach, more coach than player.
Strap.
A lot of
I know.
a lot of blue burns that day.
Some of these younger- It's at Murphy Park,
Murphy Park.
That's Marcus.
Off of
off of Library.
Library.
So here's, we do have this.
It doesn't count as, IOD.
Do we have a roster for both departments?
Yeah, we have a couple one-day members.
Yeah, can we see that?
But I haven't got
Can we
that
see some
approved.
discovery, this is a discovery request?
Yeah.
Who are your ringers?
Yeah.
The roster
You
should
got a
be,
couple,
I
that's
think
all I
the
got to
roster
say.
should be
Are we-
approved by the public safety.
Are we
Commission.
swearing in a couple new golf course members that might?
My son just finished 4 years of college basketball, so we'll see what happens with that. Well, that's all I
Relatives.
have for tonight. I'm on duty tonight, so, you have any questions, I can take them, or if you do really have any other questions, you can send an email to Chief Strand and.
Any
See
questions for
everybody.
the captain? You all good?
Would you like to report every month? Put a word in.
Nah. I'll do what I can, you know, I'm here to help.
Thank you.
That's the right answer?
Thanks for
You did
your
good,
time.
Kyle.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Those look like thick
Looks
reports.
like you got a question, Maria. Anything for me?
Come on.
She says.
Maria's known me my whole life
She
too.
said
so
later.
she doesn't-
She'll catch you later.
Okay, she'll catch you later. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you.
All right, we welcome dispatch.
Smelling, so let's stay away from this.
No, you can't tell them.
You know, the chair,
It just doesn't work.
the chair has the right to ask anybody in the audience if they would leave, please.
Can I export it?
I'm gonna see that.
Introduce yourself to the people on the internet.
I am Cindy Hunter. I'm the dispatch supervisor for Graceville Police and Fire. Okay, so for the month of July, dispatch entered 3,332 calls into our CAD. It was up about 10% from the last month, so we were pretty busy. Calls in and out of our 911 system, we had 2,015 calls
911.
through the 911 system. That's into our center and then out of our center. Shifts covered by per diems in the month of July. We had 120 hours. That equates to 15 shifts for our per diems. Keeping in mind, we still have one on maternity leave. I heard from her today. It sounds like she may be coming back sooner than later. So we'll have our fourth per diem back, which is exciting. Dispatchers covered 26 and a half shifts of overtime in the month of July, or 212 hours. Which is not unusual for July, because that starts our vacation season, essentially. So, but very few, I don't think we had any forces in July. So people are picking up shifts. So we definitely I appreciate every dispatcher putting in their effort. I've also been covering 6 to 8 shifts a month on the desk. There are certain shifts I can cover, certain shifts have to go out to the full-time people first. So I do as much as I can. I think we talked about in our last meeting that we unfortunately had lost one full-time dispatcher, Johanna Field. So we do have a full-time position open. We had offered it to one of our per diems. Unfortunately, after some consideration between herself and her family, she had to decline the offer. So we were hoping for a smooth transition to not have to be in training again, but unfortunately that didn't happen. However, on the plus side, we had previously opened our application process, and so we had already 15 applications on file.
So we vetted those, some basic information. We sent out invites to 11 of the 15. So they have until Friday to respond to the invite. So we'll see what we have. We are planning on having interviews on September 9th at the police station. I have actually reached out to Commissioner Mascaratolo. I hope that you got my email.
I did. I was gonna ask other commissioners if they
Gotcha.
wanted to, had time to attend or not. I haven't.
So we'd
Okay.
send that invitation, I guess, to all of you to decide one of you.
I can,
could participate.
I was planning on forwarding to them.
What was the date again?
Nice.
September 9th. I believe we have the start time at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
It would be at the police station in the conference room. So we would definitely appreciate having one of you or more of you participating with us. We absolutely appreciate your input, and we have appreciated Commissioner Mascaratolo's input in the past as well. The rest of the panel, just to give you an idea, we have Lieutenant Haskins, myself, Dispatcher Josh Arell. I have asked him to sit on the panel. I don't believe he's done that before. Our senior account clerk for the department, Judy Brown, usually participates as a civilian. So that will make up our panel and hopefully one of the commissioners. I would like to mention that I actually had a meeting the other day. We, as the department actually changed ACOs, as you may be already aware. We are now collaborating with the Sheriff's Department using their ACO services. I actually had opportunity to meet with Chris Pelletier. He's an assistant superintendent, I believe, in the jail. In charge of special, I want to say special operations, but special departments. ACO Kyle Dragon, myself, and Shelburne Controls Dispatch Supervisor Cam Dunbar. We're just working out some of the logistics of contacts for them. They're coming up with a matrix of when we would call them out, who's going to be on call, coming up with a schedule. They have 4 ACOs currently that we can utilize. So we're very happy with the communication so far with them. Also with Leslie Colucci, who is in charge of the kennel. She's been fantastic to work with as well. I appreciate that. So we're just continuing to work out the bugs, but they've been very responsive so far. So we appreciate that.
So does the dispatch receiving calls from Greenfield residents about issues? And if they do you transfer to the sheriff's department?
So they have a dedicated phone line that when you call it, you get a recording,
Okay.
and then you can leave a message, and apparently that message then forwards to all 4 of their cell phones.
I got you.
So they're getting it pretty immediate.
Okay.
We can also leave the same messages. We also have all of their cell phone contacts as well, if it's an emergency situation, so we can contact them pretty quickly. But yeah, we do have, I would have to look at the numbers, but we do get an awful lot of animal calls. So, yeah, I mean, ranging from, simple, I have a skunk in my basement, to a bat in the house, hoarding type situations, kind of dealt with it all. As you all know, I'm sure school is back in session. One of the things that we do when school is in session is we work with Officer Matt Llewellyn, one of the community policing officers. And we do emergency phone testing for the schools. So we started that this week. Each school in their office has a dedicated emergency line that only we have access to. So when we call that, someone is supposed to answer. So we did a surprise test of those phones this week. So we will continue. There was a couple bugs to work out with that. Matt and I are working on getting that done. So we'll continue that. We try to do that once a month, just to make sure everybody's getting where they need to go. And I would just like to say that I had a very brief conversation with Sergeant Cloutier, who will talk soon, recently. In the past, I feel like dispatch is not always thought of when we have community events or things such as job fairs at the schools, that type of thing. And she actually came to me and mentioned that she would love to have our participation in community events coming up. So I look forward to, we have not had a very extensive conversation about it, but I definitely look forward to having more of a conversation with her about it. I think it would be great to get our dispatchers out in the public and get a face with the voice, and just let our community members know who's answering the phone when they call us in their time of need. So we look forward to that. And actually I have one more thing. I have something to hand out to you. The state finally this year, after many years of not updating, the state 911 department has updated their list of approved training courses for us.
Great.
It had been many years since they had done that. So I wanted to just give you all that list so you can see the types of classes that we're taking. A majority of these are private companies, and so of course there's costs involved. Some of them are through the state, and there is no cost, so we look for those, of course. So
Are
just.
any of these online?
Actually, I would say a majority of them are probably online, either Zoom or they do pre-recorded videos.
Right.
Which is obviously super helpful because unfortunately, and I think we've mentioned this before, but unfortunately for us, most of the in-person training that happens in Massachusetts happens towards Boston. And so it usually requires an hour and a half, 2-hour drive for us to get where the training is. So
Stops at Worcester, come on.
no, well, I mean, we hosted one class last year, as you know. We're hoping to host at least 2 this year, which I know that Shelburne and Montague much appreciated that they didn't have to drive. And we sent several dispatchers as well. So hopefully we're going to do that again this year, once we hear about our training grant being approved. So.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity. We have the space, so.
Absolutely. One of the things that they've done, and I think it's actually on the very first page, is they've offered, or they now require at least 2 hours of behavioral health training. And that's actually the first part of that list is, so we all actually just had to complete 2 hours of behavioral health, but I want to encourage more hours of that. And the ones that we actually just finished were actually no cost. So if we can
Oh,
find
that's
some of
great.
those no cost training, that's even better. That's all I have, unless any of you have any questions.
Any questions? Do you have any idea why you think there was a 10% uptick on calls coming into the station?
I just think it's summertime and we tend to be busier in the better weather. People are out and about. I think some of it probably is attributed to our downtown officer and her being so proactive. I think we do have a lot more calls downtown, but not negatively. There's a lot of things that she's looking for. She's doing community interaction type stuff. So I think that made it go up a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, we invite the police department. Mostly Sergeant Megan.
Just preferably, no, I'm just kidding.
I thought I had printed up extra, but I'm glad I printed up as many as I did, because we have a whole panel. Good to see all of you.
Huh? Yeah.
Thank you. I like that color shirt, man.
You like that? Oh, you say you want one?
No, I don't want any.
I think it matches his eyes.
Really accentuates.
Well, welcome. Introduce yourself to the folks on Zoom.
Todd Dodge, Chief of Police. Chris Green, Deputy Chief.
Ready to your sergeant?
Excellent.
We'll get right into it. July, we handled 3,508 calls for service. That was up 127 from the previous month. Total time spent on that was 1,682 hours. It's actually 135 hours less than the previous month. Calls handled in the business district, 315, which was 15 calls more than the previous month, proactive. Case assignments from all those calls, 193 incident reports were issued, which is an increase of 37. Accident reports issued were 47, which is up 7. Arrest reports were up 9 to 47, and citations issued up still about the same, about 235, down 5 from the previous month. We're still doing a couple hundred citations a month. We do still have, which the deputy chief can talk, they're still doing the grant stuff. So special report stuff, unfortunately, we lost another officer. Jed Henry transferred from us to Auburn PD. It's where the majority of his friends and family are, and he's just more comfortable out in that area. It's kind of like on his own out here and trying to get back home. So we have to fill
He's
that.
gone?
He's gone. Yeah.
Um,
You had met her previously, some of you, but Alyssa Farnham completed her training and she's been on solo patrol. She's on day shift currently until the new bid takes place September, October. Yeah. Substation, we've talked about it many times. It is up and running. We're staffing it. It's likely we're going to increase the hours of that at some point. We're just, the first phase was to get it up and running, get people in there, get people familiar with it. We still have to get some sort of, we're thinking a flag that says open or we're in or something out front, so people can visually see that right there. It's hard to see otherwise. Report stations, basically completed that project. Cruisers. Sergeant can speak to that. That is, we're literally in dire straits with cars. Luckily I meet with the mayor every other week. Explain to her, we are gonna be massively over budget on cruisers. So, and the problem with that is by no fault of anyone's, that 5-year period where we couldn't get any new ones is really starting to show its end. It's rearing its ugly head. We have, how many cars are in the shop right now?
I believe 4. 4 that are out of service. We have, 2 in Holyoke at Marcotte. We have 1 at Fort of Greenfield. Mine is being put out of service tonight. So that's 3 marked cars and 1 unmarked right now that are completely unavailable. Some others that have some issues that are on the list that need to be addressed, but it's definitely a big problem.
So, and again, just to keep it in perspective for everybody, we've gotten 2 new cars. So that's where we're at. And now we're at like 6-7 years. So do we have 3 coming? Sure. We can't wait to get those 3 cars. So
What's the date on those 3?
October.
But then they have to get fitted out?
No,
That's when we get them, they're fitted out.
Some
Should be
brief
ready.
lettering should be all that's needed and some minor IT work.
So they'll be on the road in October.
Oh, yeah. And of those cars, 2 of them are hybrid and 1 of them is a fully electric EV, Lightning. So the vast majority of our fleet at that point will be either electric or hybrid. The cars we drive are hybrid. So we have an extensive hybrid fleet. For a while, that was a problem. The technology was sort of rushed in. It's not just that we're dealing with now. Even the gas models, the new gas models that we got are losing oil inexplicably. We can't figure out what that's all about. So I talked with our sales rep from MHQ and he's the first he heard of it. So we're getting pounded when it comes to cruiser maintenance. There's gonna be no relief quickly unless we pour a ton of money into it, but we're gonna end up either buying cars or we're gonna end up paying for repairs. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
So with the 4 cars out, how does that affect like a shift?
Horrible.
There's no.
So what do you
break
do?
in
What do you
car.
do? I mean, so during the daytime shift, you have 4 out. You have 4 officers on shift, right?
So
And then-
essentially what used to happen is that the cars would get a rest in between a shift, like they might be used, so each car is assigned to an officer, but say there's 5 cars in use per shift, 1 is a supervisor, 4 patrolmen. And then on 3 to 11, maybe 2 of those cars were resting and the others were being used, and then on overnights, 2 other ones would be resting. But right now, every car is being used, every shift almost, all
Every
day
day.
long, like 24 hours a day.
So there's no break, you're getting no break on.
And you're seeing some of these, like the one Zoe uses is 10 years old.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It's
It was my car back then.
it's old. So we're literally
Not
doing
saying
everything
it's
we
old.
can to put Band-Aids on things to keep things rolling. We're in a bad place. I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true. We are in a horrible place. We can go in our lot any time of day. Our Dolly port is empty. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
They're at dealerships trying to get service.
So what is going on with your car? I mean, we just got this car.
Transmissions.
Yeah.
I mean, is 4, we got it from
So,
Toyota to Ford?
so
Are they-
the good news there is mine is not gonna cost us anything. This one is covered under warranty. The problem is that we're gonna be down a vehicle. It's been down at Ford twice now, and just it's a used vehicle, you never know sometimes what happens, and they've taken full responsibility for it, and we're just waiting for the marked cruiser to be finished with the new engine that's being put in that one, and so that mine can then go up on the list, because the marked cruiser is far more important than mine is, so. But we use the unmarks for our CIT shifts, for, call outs, for people going to training, so that marked units are not being used and extra miles being put on at those times when the CIT shifts can use those instead, so.
So one of the 3 marked cars is getting a new engine.
Correct.
How much is that?
Free.
That one's under warranty.
That one's under warranty too.
Now, the problem isn't that kind of stuff. The problem is we don't have the cars.
Yeah.
And we
they're
haven't had that
dealing
one
with their
for, it's
issues.
now been like, what, 2+ months without that one? Cause
Oh,
they had,
yeah.
I might actually be closer.
It's
to
really
3.
more than that because it's
Yeah.
been diagnosed several times. It
Yeah.
goes in and out, in and
Yeah.
out.
Where is that being serviced?
Port of Greenfield.
Port of Greenfield.
Do they not have loaner cars, vehicles?
Not for cruisers, yeah.
Well, I know it doesn't have all of their.
And Ford
but-
of Greenfield doesn't do that, like with MHQ, which is now, what's the name of the company? It's the big dealers, McGovern.
McGovern, yeah.
So McGovern bought MHQ, and that particular branch does that upfitting of cruisers. So that one building, and you go there, and it's just cruiser
You
capital.
can't borrow anything that are down in the lot.
Down here is nothing. I mean, we'd have
No,
cars.
no, no, no,
forever.
no, down in the
Oh, I'd
lot.
like to borrow.
Howard
those.
Johnson's
Yeah,
has.
and them aren't even
Yeah, I
upfitted
know,
yet.
right?
I know,
Yeah.
but
We wish, although I think they do have like the consoles set up and
Yeah.
I'd like those. Them are nice, but we're not asking for nice, beautiful cars like that. We're just asking for reliable cars.
something that runs.
Yeah. And again, we're just not gonna get out of this because like Megan explained is when you're maintaining these cars to the extent we have to right now, the other cars are getting pounded on because they're getting used constantly. Whenever we set up shift bid or cruiser bids, that's what I always did is I took about 3 offline per shift. So if you looked at the matrix, you gave a break to each car. Each car had to take a break between a shift. So between the 3 shifts, you could give 3, 3, 3, and then you rotate back through. There's 0 breaks right now. There's just none, and that's pounding on those cars. We just keep staying behind the 8-ball cruisers. So by the time we get these new cars, these other new cars are already with the miles and hours of old cars because they're used constantly, every single day. So,
Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes, absolutely.
Chief, so we've talked about this before. My preference would be to have cruiser purchases be current service items on an annual basis without the melodrama that goes on about one cruiser at a time. You see us being able to put together a presentation, which I'd be happy to participate in at budget time to do that, because it's cumbersome at the local level with the bids, right? But there are ways to streamline the purchasing process and the budgeting process to make it clear and understood that this isn't, I remember there was some big debate about a pickup truck that was, gonna be some sort of a strange commodity for you to have.
yeah.
How do we break through that? I mean, people need to understand what police departments do. And I don't want to get overheated about it, but it really bothers
You'll
me
get me there too.
that this is a city that can't fund police cruisers. But we can do everything else. It's quite aggravating. Because I've been in the position of making sure that deputies have vehicles. And the difference that's very clear is in your case, 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's dangerous, there are liability issues, and it should be dealt with. Not this year to year, kick it down the roads. So,
I appreciate where you're saying. I get it. I like it. Obviously, we're on the same page with that. What it boils down to is sadly politics. So
really? Oh, really? Oh, I forgot where I was.
you know it,
Okay.
right? So I can talk until I'm blue in the face about why we need cars and I'll tell all the stories and I'll come up with any anecdote that I could present. And the minute the conversation ends, it's back to the original thinking is I don't care, you're a cop, you get nothing. And that's not from everybody. The mayor, obviously, I'm not sucking up to her, but she was very gracious. She got it. She understand the conversation. She pushed to get these cruisers. And she would buy it. She'd buy us a fleet right now if she could, but obviously there's limitations there. There are individuals on our council who would do it as well. But again, what it always comes down to is I feel, you know, we're police, so when it comes down to a situation where the entire council has to spend 20 minutes debating whether or not they're gonna fund our cars. And every
That's what
other
I'm getting at.
agency, just gets a pass, you're buying without any discussion.
Yes.
It's hard. I take it personal. The mayor and I talk about this too. I can feel the blood welling up into my face when they're doing these things. It's not fair. What city council needs to realize is it's negligent on their part to let our cruisers get to this extent. And what they also fail to realize is in their time of need, we want to still get to them too. They're residents of Greenfield. And some of them would be the first to criticize us for not. And again, I hate getting into all that, and it does get my blood boiling, but now we got what we needed, right? So we asked the council, and yes, I took it a little personal that it was a 20-minute discussion and an entire roll call vote. When fire just got a $2 million truck with no discussion, and DPW got several trucks with no discussion, and they need them. Nobody's arguing that they need them. So why is it that the money we're gonna put towards our cruisers would be better sent to the schools? The city needs cars. The city needs police cars. You have a police department, you need cars. Now, I know there are some people who'd rather not have a police department, and I've actually commented lately, I hate to think of what this city would turn into without a police department. Please use some common sense. And again, I'll go so far. So
I don't think it's gonna be answered here tonight, but I would like to get it be, and then maybe there has been just some discussions, the mayor's here. But I look at this as, why are we separating out departments when it comes to vehicles? And Mayor, maybe you don't have to answer, it's fine. But why isn't, when we have to go in front of the council, why aren't vehicles treated as a city thing, a complete city thing? You know, why, to me, if it has to be separate, if it's separated out, then everybody has an opinion about a department. I like this department, I don't like this department, I don't believe in the police, I believe in the police. But we're talking about a huge fleet of cars here, not just police. There's, you know, city hall folks have cars, police have cars, fire has cars, health has cars, you know, all the departments have cars. Why, to me, it would make sense to talk about it as a program as a whole.
Most
Whole
of it-
thing,
most
not
of
in
it-
individual departments.
most of that's all regulated by the city charter. Like the way money's spent, the way things are voted on, the way things move are all regulated by the charter. And currently the charter mandates that when we start talking about purchases, particularly of that size, people have to get involved. Right now, that's Ways and Means, that's the Capital Committee. They sit, we do our presentation, and none of them were a roadblock. So it was fine. The conversations were absolutely great. So we moved through, the mayor was absolutely, you know, she's instrumental in coming up with the plan. Like, are we gonna do a capital? Or are we gonna go out of budget? Right? So there's a cause and effect to each thing. We put it in our budget, looks like the police spiked 13% this year, asking for crazy amounts of money. If you take them out of there and go to capital, then your budget doesn't look like you're being greedy. It looks like you're going to capital, but at the same time, the same people ultimately are voting on it.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. Why can't the city have a overall transportation vehicle plan? And all the departments are incorporated into that. When the council changes, they either like a department or they don't. New people come on, they have their opinions. They like a department, they don't. But we're talking about maintaining city services. It's not an individual thing. If the DPW doesn't have enough vehicles, then services will be affected. If the police don't have enough vehicles, services will be affected. Same with all the other departments. So why is it an individual conversation? I think it should be a whole city conversation when it comes to transportation
I think what you're
costs.
saying is right. I think the process, sure. But it really is, when you start talking capital, it is a city thing. It's just, I come to explain why I need it. But when you're talking capital, it's doing exactly what I think you're saying. The city is saying, can we spend some money on capital? Right, either through loan or through capital funding, right, that they have stashed away. So that is it. I just happen to be the spokesman because I'm going for police cars.
But if the city had a 5-year plan on how, and we had a company, I mean, what about I'm talking about rotating vehicles. You know, they have a certain amount of lifetime and then they get rotated out. Is that I don't think that's a hard
You want me to
ask.
speak to that a little bit? Because I was. involved in that.
Anybody here can speak to it. I'm just bringing it
Because
up.
the city does have a 5-year capital outlay. Every department supplies capital with a 5-year plan every year, and it gets updated, and it either gets agreed upon, and like the chief said, most of the time it goes through capital, most of the time it goes through the mayor, and then it gets to city council, and that's the chopping block, because that's the way the charter is written. In order to change that, you need to change the way the charter is spelled out, and that you would have a separate department handling transportation for the city. But you'd still have a 5-year plan. There is a 5-year plan,
Mhm.
and I can tell you, and I know we've been lucky lately, and I'll knock on wood that. But, you know, we went through stretches where our vehicles got put off years and years and years, and now. Unfortunately, the police department's getting picked on, where they're not really picked on, but now they're getting the.
Well, I mean, there was
picked on.
reasons,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah.
happened.
Well, I was trying to be politically correct,
There's reasons it happened, but now we're suffering from it.
but
And
yes,
it's not us.
so
What
that's
people
what
fail to
happened.
realize, it's not us suffering. It's
It's the
the
citizen,
community.
it's the citizens degree.
The communities. We want to
You
get
guys are the
people.
ones that get a headache from it.
I agree with everything you're saying, but the fact is.
Well, that's how it
But
happens.
yes, I agree with that, but the fact is that maybe that has to change.
Well,
And
yeah.
and maybe that it's, you know, we're spending money on, you know, in this case, we're getting a free engine. But, you know, we're spending money on fixing an old jalopy that it should have been retired a long time ago. I mean, we gotta look at it common sense. We gotta look, I mean, if we had a rotating program that was citywide, then there wouldn't be so many fights about vehicles. I mean, I'm just stating, this is just my opinion. I'm
More
not saying.
discussion that would be required. What I see right now, honestly, is even at the end of that, with purchases like that, the be all end all, in most cases, is city council. So regardless of how you do it, through the interest of transparency, they're gonna say, okay, you've given me a list of cars to vote on this year. What is that? What are they? And you're gonna say, well, there's 3 fire trucks, there's 4 DPW trucks, there's 3 cruisers. Let's talk about that, because that's what's happening. I don't want to argue fairness, it's just what's happening. So, like the commissioner said, I'd love for you to show up and speak on our behalf. Will it be effective? I don't know, you know.
I just think a budget item is the way to go.
Sure. But again, there's the politics of that is, like I said, if we put it in the budget, for example, now cars are $100,000 a piece.
Yep.
So by putting 3 cars in our budget, now the traditional way of doing this, in order for us to stay ahead of this. I'd say back when it was a better time for cars, we'd get 3 a year. 3 cars a year.
Mhm.
We have a fleet of 12 marked cars. 3 a year, you didn't have, it was basically at 5 years, you're replacing your oldest 3 marked cars. And then every 3 years, you would get 3 cars. I mean, every year you would get 3 cars. Your oldest car really was 6, because on the 6th year, we'd buy a series of unmarked cars, try to add to our fleet. But like I said, the history, we just got rid of all our unmarks for used unmarks that our unmarks were 14 plus years. With 100,000 on some, more than that on others, tons of maintenance being done to them. So what we did is we traded in for 3 to 4 year old cars with 30,000, 40,000 miles on them, because we're never gonna get to a point where we can get unmarks any other way. Because we're still fighting the battle of trying to replace our marked cars that are now 7 years old in some cases. So it's not ideal. We're suffering, that's, you know, we have those old cars that we're constantly maintaining. That doesn't have anything to do with the production issues. Even the new ones have issues. They're running out of oil. We don't know why. So it's a horrible place.
I still think that there has to be an overall program to look at. If we have 10 departments in 20 departments that use cars in Greenfield, that's buying power. We have to have a better way so people aren't depending on, does the council like this department or not? That's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm not.
I think a plan, the way I see it is, and I won't be here even at the end of this first rotation of this, but a plan needs to be developed, because right now, even if we continue to do just 3 a year, we're gonna stay exactly at where we're at right now. The cars are just gonna, we need a really sizable batch of marked cars to get us up to speed and then get back to the 3 a year thing. The problem is nobody's gonna wanna spend that, but it's vital right now for us to get a chunk for our fleet replaced. Cause if you think of it right now, we got 3,
That's nothing.
6 years, they're gonna be that old. Well, they're gonna be the 9 and 10-year-old cars because we're still only replacing 3 at a time. We're in a bad spot.
When you get the 3 for October, you taking 3 older ones off the road?
Ideally, unless, right now,
We
we're
don't have
having to
any.
keep them going because the good ones aren't running. So, yeah, I have made a point, at the mayor's request, we have drastically reduced our fleet size. Our footprint is smaller. Our footprint is not only smaller, it's also comprised of more fuel efficient cars. So we've been doing that. We're playing ball. We're trying to do everything we can. We're in a massive pickle right now when it comes to the police cars. So you guys should definitely know that. Chris can take it from here. I digress.
I don't know what I can add to that.
I digress.
On the plus side, we're meeting with Carol Collins this Friday to talk about where the EV charger is gonna go for our first set.
Right.
The plan is to have that installed before the new truck gets here. And hopefully maybe add a parking enforcement / court car in the mix too. So 2 EV cars added to our fleet now.
And you're talking charging location at the police station?
Yeah, we had conversations today. It's like, we need to plan for the future. So if EV is the way, 100% EV is the way we're gonna go, we need to like establish where we're gonna start, where the chargers go and what kind of services we need. And because originally they're gonna tie into our existing building service and trench a hole up front and then put a double charger up there. Now we're talking the future here is a dedicated line off a pole. So now we have central maintenance, we have Carroll, we have Eversource, Current Electric, and I don't know, probably 1,000 other engineers involved to come up with where this first charger goes in their expansion
Yeah,
for the future.
Do the first
So
one,
if we end up with 12 EV cars in the future, well, we need to plan ahead if we're gonna remain where we are, which,
And that's another possibility for the chief's request that they have a barricade. So you have to barricade those electric vehicles so you can start putting in poles all the way down the.
yeah, right
So
now.
that could be part
You're
of,
gonna want ballers near the charger so you don't.
That's what I'm saying.
Have
Yeah.
Service.
you know, the 6-inch ones.
Cause they're gonna be street side, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll be on the edge of the bank.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that may be one of the ways that you'll get some clearance on that side, so that you don't have people rolling over
That's right.
the edge of the bank.
Planning starts right now,
Of course.
so that's good. So Friday, we're gonna meet, we're gonna talk, and hopefully that's all in place before we get the truck in October.
Are there any grant funds for any of that?
Yeah,
Mayor's
Carol,
Mayor's nodding yes, okay.
Carol got a lot of money. In fact, the vast majority of the installation of that charger, she's having funded through a grant and I believe $25,000 or $30,000 towards the purchase of that truck. Oh, you know, she's magic. She's definitely is good at her job, so.
I'm just asking
She's
a
helping us a
question
lot.
because I think the public should know that you're doing everything you can to reduce the cost of the town so that we get the best equipment.
Yep.
And we keep it running the best we can.
And she stays on the pulse of the cutting edge. So I mean, since I started talking with Carol about a charger, and there was just a recent upgrade. So she's gonna make sure that we get the best bang for our buck in terms of a charger for sure.
Greenfield's lucky to have it.
Yeah, yeah.
We're happy that she came back.
And we're not looking for Band-Aids, we're looking for a solid foundation and expand from
Yeah.
there.
And it means safety for everybody.
Mhm.
It's not just something nice. It's actually gonna be more effective in the field. Because we'll have the equipment.
She's an electric car will run out of oil.
That sounds great, actually.
Bingo.
And expand on
We
the.
just can't heat it and talk on the radio at the same time.
They're all gonna be outfitted. Technology changes all the time. So our past ways of trying to repurpose 10-year-old laptop. So the cars are coming fully equipped now with the latest, the most current software. We're updating our on-prem to cloud in some instances too. Which is just the way it's all going. So there's gonna be some upgrades for all our equipment.
I would say the sales rep walked away from the dealings with Chris with a black eye or two on that one. I think it was like a $40,000 savings
Yeah.
in one conversation. So yeah. we pinch pennies where we can, no doubt about it. So we're actually,
She's a tough negotiator.
yeah. It was fun. We got a lot of good laughs. out
You
of it.
know,
They absolutely could not move. They absolutely could not move. They absolutely could not move. It was okay. Well, I'm gonna talk to chief. I'll get back to you. Next thing, I'm gonna call. They moved.
that would save a lot of money.
All right.
Yep. That's it for really the cars. We had a couple introductions tonight. One was William Scoble, who's currently on day 3 of the academy. He may have been online waiting to get in, but
He
we
was,
couldn't,
yeah.
we couldn't get him in.
Yeah, for whatever
But-
reason, the Zoom wasn't working.
But he's here in spirit,
Under trained.
but he's day 3 of the
You
academy,
can
so
feel the
let,
spirit.
yeah. Christina Barthen, she's our latest, greatest CSO co-response person. She is on a call. She's been on a call for a while, so she's not here now, so imagine she's still.
You'll
still
be
working.
happy to know that Scoble, who I believe you met one or two ago,
No.
has shaved his mustache.
Yeah,
I just wanted to point out that. That was important.
Christina is asking to come back next month. She would
Yeah.
like to introduce herself, so.
Absolutely.
Alright, so as long as she doesn't have her baby before then,
Yeah.
she'll be here. She's not due till October, so,
Right.
so just hopefully she will be here. She said she's gonna tell
Or
the
maybe she'll
city, she's
introduce
gonna
her
put the
baby.
memo out that she's unavailable for any services except to you guys. So.
Didn't arrive in our new.
That'd be
I know, right? In our new cruiser.
Yeah.
and the budget report, we just beat it up about the cruiser maintenance, so. I don't think we can really add to that. Other than that, I think we're doing pretty good. We're making sure we're not spending money where it doesn't need to be spent, trust
Overtime looks pretty good. I know we just started here, so.
Yeah, we usually don't have
Only a
a
month
problem.
in.
We don't have a problem with that. We're pretty good with that. There will be, you guys will see, well, I think we'll probably talk about it next time. Right, we're gonna again try to increase some hours in the substation. That's one spot where we're really gonna start to follow. There could be some changes in that regard. But other than that, things are pretty good, I think.
I got a lot of good feedback from the downtown people that I'm talking with.
Glad to hear it.
You okay over there?
She
You know, you can just leave it till the meeting's over if you want.
quiet as possible.
Crunch.
Yeah.
The final page is our co-response activity. I'll let the sergeant run with this. She has a bunch of stuff on her, in front of her that she like to.
Yes, so since we were already on correspondence, our grant was given to us until September 15th. For now, we're waiting for the next thing to come out, so, but I can say,
That's good.
yeah, we just haven't gotten the okay yet for the continue on, but I could say that if you're looking in comparison, so like April and May, we had, 20, 25, June had 19, July had 30 calls, August had 27. It's thankfully we've had 2 corresponders out, and then Caitlin just came back from her maternity leave, so that's been really great. We've had like, some couple ED diversions, avoided some section 12s that didn't need to go to the ER, so that's been really great. And we've been finding now that Caitlin is starting to spend some time in dispatch. So if they're taking a call and there's someone that's like in crisis on the phone, she can then kind of step in and start that process before we can get officers there. That's the hope with some of that.
De-escalating it on the
Yeah,
phone.
so that's been great. We've also noticed that Deerfield and Montague is starting to utilize them a little bit more, which is a big change. If you look before, Montague had 1 call, and then they're up to 6. So it's just, we're noticing a lot more need for services, and our CIT grant, people are taking the shifts so that it's not pulling away from the regular shift, so that there's additional support. So that's been going well. Like I said, Christina will be going out on maternity in late fall. But other than that, questions about co-response or CIT stuff?
So we're supporting Turners too.
So they're part of the grant. So Montague and Deerfield are partnered in the grant. So like if we have a co-responder on and Deerfield needs them, we can help get them over there, and we may not stay there during that time, or we will if it's someone on the grant. But they'll go over to assist with Montague and Deerfield as well.
And are those numbers on here?
I have them in an email, so that's a
Can you
separate.
add that to this monthly report if
Yeah.
they go,
The other towns involvement?
just curious to know if because it's one grant, I'd like to know if they.
Well, they have their own.
They- yeah,
right? So what Greenfield, work on and manage the grant. So we get CSO $200,000 a year to pay for their people.
Okay.
Then we get $100,000 for Greenfield. So we get to, then that encompasses gear, time, etc. For manpower stuff, Montague has to do their own grant. And Deerfield has to do their own
Oh,
grant.
for manpower.
That's
okay.
right.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
get the total for that triad.
Yeah.
We get that for the CSO part. They don't have to apply also for CSO's funding. We do that.
Okay.
So they get like, I think it's like, they end up billing us close to 50 a quarter,
Okay.
and that's how they pay their workers.
Okay.
But say Deerfield has the co-responder with them, the co-responders still come respond to us if we need to. So that's the nice part, is that the three towns work together.
3 times on the manpower.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think, and the good news is with the money we had, we put the co-response positions out quite liberally out there, the overtime assignments, and we ended up still having money, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's more than amply funded. There was a scare in that. It was, I think, of an 18 or $16 million line item on the state level.
Mhm.
It was talked about that they were gonna cut it down to like 2.7, which would have absolutely affected that. I think the end result was enough dust was kicked up that not only was it fully funded, they actually added. So we're not fearing any cuts. In fact, I did just get the emails and I have signed off on them that we got the 200 and the 100 for this fiscal year. So we're good again. So co-response isn't going anywhere. As I say, it looks like it's only gonna get bigger and bigger. It's a good thing. It really is a good thing.
Can you speak to section 35s?
So co-response doesn't really do that. They, if we've talked about, there's a couple individuals that we've been discussing whether we should be going that route, that we can petition with the court. Our court administrator can put that together. So we've been talking about some of that with a couple parties, whether or not that's the way to go. But most of those individuals have services from other places as well. So
There's this gap, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I
That's what
think
I'm
that's
talking
probably what you're getting at. So you have the mental health, and certainly addiction is a mental health component. But the opioid task force now has SIMS crews that will actually go out in the field,
they're connected.
but it's solely related to opioid addiction. Obviously, there are individuals suffering from alcohol and other drugs that are on the verge of death too. And there's where the gaps that you're talking about. Oftentimes it's left to us or family to determine whether or not they're gonna go file a 35. So I think in terms of opiates, we're starting to get that handle on that. And then on mental health, we got a handle on that. There's that gap in those lesser substances.
It is a little more cumbersome.
Can one of you define what, I don't know what a section 35 is.
So that's
Can someone
for-
define that
Yeah,
first?
so section 35 is a petition with the court where it can mandate someone to go in for treatment for alcohol or drug abuse. And it's only something that's petitioned by a family member or a police officer can do it. So like with like
Doctor.
like doctor, so it couldn't just be like some Joe Schmo that doesn't really know you.
Yeah.
But
And
they
what it
petition in
is,
front of a
so
judge.
The best way to say it, they are, their applications, truthfully. Most people interpret them incorrectly. A section 12 is the application to have you looked at for mental health reasons. There's more to it that keeps you held. The section 35 that he has suggested is an application for someone to interview you or take a look at you for addiction purposes. No guarantee. Vast majority of times they walk out by the end of the day.
They have a doctor at the court.
They have a
When we bring them
forensic,
to them.
yeah, they have a forensic psychologist, and those individuals all get representation.
Yep.
They get an attorney appointed to them, and they get that conversation. So at the conclusion of that hearing in front of a judge with the psychologist and the attorneys present and the individual and family, whoever the applicant was, they all say their piece and a decision is made. Now it's really not a 35 anymore. It's an involuntary committal. You're going to send them to Bridgewater or somewhere where they can protect themselves from themselves.
And that's 90 days typically if they do it.
Thank you for that.
I can say, I think it's important to note that we've had some pretty significant
cases with like fraud coming in for the DB, our detective bureau, there's been a lot of like gold bar purchases and a lot of the elderly community is participating in that. We've been working with a couple of federal agents and some other agencies that are looking into this, finding something. We do have some victims in Greenfield. So this is a way bigger problem that we're just starting to hit the tip of. So just something to be aware of, that if you start hearing those things, I do know like places like the senior center offer a lot as far as like teaching people about fraud. And I know the sheriff's office, we've been doing, you know, some PSAs occasionally that come out when we hear like these scam phone calls and text messages and all of that. So that's probably one of the most significant cases that we've been getting is involving fraud, and most specifically with elderly individuals. So that's something that's happening on the detective bureau side. But as far as the
Those are recent.
yeah,
uptick
I
in
actually
that?
just spoke to a special agent last night for another case, and we've had a couple patrolmen that have been coming up to him like, I think this is a big deal. Yeah, totally is. So that's it for that portion. There were a couple things that happened last month that I don't know if we ever talked about, because I think I missed the last meeting, but the harvest supper was last week. Did any of you guys get to participate in any of that? No, so I was on the common. I was there in the morning prepping some food for them, which was a really cool experience. If you have not been inside the Stone Soup Cafe, it is a fantastic group of people. I will be back 100 times over. I had such a good time. I know that Officer Belleville and Officer Smith were part of a resource fair at the library for like focusing on teenagers, like a back to school, like kind of like a how to. And they had a touch a truck event that was in honor of Bob Manners up at Apex Orchards that I know we went to. A couple of people have been at Fridays on the common. I've seen few of your members there, and my son maybe won at bingo a few times. Yeah, we went and played some bingo. He won like 3 candy bars. He's thrilled. So it was pretty cool.
They had the little blotter.
Yeah, no, we didn't have blotters, but we had markers, and he talked so much trash that whole time, and then he won so much. So anyway, so those are the things that happened in August that you may not have known about that we had talked about. Coming up, there is Fridays on the Common this Friday, which I'm sure Maria has told you guys about. They're doing a vendor night still, right? That's still on. So you'll see Officer Llewellyn, Officer Smith will be there, and Correspondent Christina actually will be there on Fridays if calls allow. So stop in and say hello. On Saturday, we were invited by the Recover Project to they're doing like a overdose awareness. It's like National Overdose Awareness Day, and they're doing a thing at the St. James at, I believe it's 6:30. Saturday, yep, Saturday.
On the 31st.
I'm looking at it right now. It says August 30th, 6:30 PM at the courtyard at 8 Church Street. So a couple officers from Shift will be over there to honor that. So beyond that, we have our honor guard participating in the fair parade on Thursday the 4th, which is really exciting. It's been a while for that kind of stuff. Saturday the 6th, we've been monitoring some social media information and talked to the organizers, but there's a pro Medicaid demonstration happening on Saturday the 6th. So
Pro Medicaid?
yes, so they're the same people that did 2 other demonstrations that had happened here. The organizers are great. They've been fantastic with us as law enforcement. So we're just kind of monitoring how big we think this one might be, but we don't have any concerns about it not being peaceful on the common. Yep, is where they usually do it. Monday, the 8th is the K9 golf tournament by Crub and Fox. On the 12th, there'll be members of our agency, couple of these guys
This
potentially, and
This
yeah, I'm
couple, you
assuming
said?
this couple.
6.
And a few members of the department will be at the Children Advocacy's breakfast. It's a really good event. It's a fundraising event for them. That evening on the 12th, which I hope you guys will all attend, at the 99 is the Tip a Cop event put on by Special Olympics, and that's at 5 PM. So you'll be unfortunately served by us. So that'll be fun. They already talked about
We don't mix them.
yeah,
just serve
yeah,
'em.
we just serve them. But the Bases and Badges softball tournament, as you know, is a point of contention between the agencies here, so that'll be fun.
We don't need ringers to beat them.
Yeah, it's, it should be interesting. There's a couple of things coming in the future, some programs that we're starting up. Matt Llewellyn and I met with Big Brother, Big Sister, and we are becoming what they call lunch buddies. Where we will get to go have lunch once a week with what they call littles. to just kind of bridge the gap a little bit and get to know some of these
Good.
kids.
Find any
So.
place for a free meal, you know?
And I'm gonna play board games and read books and go kick a soccer ball around and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna be, I think we're partnering with Federal Street School for that
Okay.
one. So I met with Abby Bresciano and that's in the works. And then we also have, we're looking to reintegrate the DARE program. Back with it should be like 5th and 6th grade age, 5th, 6th and 7th, I think is the age range. Again, Officer Llewellyn, and Officer Melvin Moreno, which I'm not sure you guys know him. He's a midnighter, really good dude. He's pretty excited to
Great.
get out into the daylight, get to be with some kids. And then the substation, I know we talked a little bit about that. We have been doing office hours on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 11 to 1, which we're gonna maintain that through September is the plan. Maria's been part of that as a community liaison. Mike Mastrojitaro has been. We're also looking to have, when we have an additional co-responder on, they may also be down there too, which is great. You'll see me down there some officers have been going in and, you know, checking in with people there. So the hope is to make that a little bit more of an inviting space, like I said, so people know that we're there. We have a sandwich board coming, and potentially a flag. The other thing, which I only brought one copy because, you know, budgets and it's all color, but this is the Fall Public Safety Festival, which is coming up in October. It's a free event. It's at the Franklin County Fairgrounds. It's being hosted by the cadet program.
Great.
So you will see probably 75 plus agencies up there. I'm a co-organizer for it. I'm in charge of like the police side of things, and a few other
Growing
entities.
rapid.
So it's gonna be great. This year it's at the Franklin County Fairgrounds and it's the Friday of Columbus Day weekend. And it's from 4 to 8 p.m.
I'll be there,
So-
I'll be there representing public safety. if other public
Checkbooks, your
safety-
Apple
Yeah,
Pay.
fantastic. I love that.
Always planning to be there.
Any questions or anything you think I didn't talk about?
I have a question about the substation.
Yes, ma'am.
Was the process, progress on creating that division because people?
Just talked about that today
walk
with
right-
the vendor. I talked to him, you know, the vendor that was helping us with that is out of town, not the builders, the vendor, another person. And we're gonna talk about that once that person is back in town, which I believe is Friday.
What is this for?
We just we need a counter. So when people come in, there's a kind of a break, a
Into
stop.
into the office.
It's
Because
just
they'll
wide
they'll
open.
walk in and they'll walk right through, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like.
And so, and the whole reason, like we had talked about, like, you know, the reason why we have the privacy stuff up on the window is because sometimes there's documents and stuff that we're doing in there that people can't just walk around and see. And so we have to create some sort of barrier there.
I think some type of thing, like a flag or something, is a great idea to let people know somebody's in there in case, you know, they have an emergency and they just gotta
Well,
get
there's
to it.
always a call button
Yeah.
too. So there is that box right there that they can hit, gets directly up to
Yeah.
dispatch. So, and that's video monitored. So if something's drastically happening, they can't
Yeah,
speak, we
goes
can
right
see
to
it.
this.
Yeah, so.
Is there a plan to put a sign there that says it is a call button and not a, you know, buzzer to?
Yeah,
let
we can put some
people-
labels there.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, what makes the most sense there. And your questions?
I was gonna actually ask about the separation as well, it just, you know, for your safety and obviously public safety as well, but I just think that. Even if you can, I don't know if you can or not, but could you put something in there temporarily, like some sort of a shelving unit, like. A man-made one that's already
It's
like,
probably gonna end up man-made anyway, because it's kind of a one-off thing.
yeah,
And the problem
You
with it
guys
is,
wanted one of those
it's,
ones that goes
we
like
need to
that,
get
right?
through.
Yeah.
Need to get.
yeah.
We'll-
But I mean,
we'll
even if
figure
you
it
put
out.
like a shelving unit or some, you know,
On
like a
wheels.
bookcase or something, like
Yeah.
just something so that when people walk in, they know, they see there's a barrier there until you get something that's more
We're gonna
permanent.
make something happen.
Because I
I have
think it's
to-
a safety thing.
By the way, I don't know if you've been there, but I had to add my little stool, because I almost fell down twice. Those things are too high for my little legs.
They weren't
Oh,
the
little-
chairs, because they're like
Chair.
their bar height.
Gotcha.
Twice I almost
Maria.
fell. I went out and got myself.
It's special.
There is one more initiative we're working, this is in the we're just dipping our toes in the water. As you can see, the police department don't do much. So, we do a lot. So another one, we thankfully have Erin Anhalt, the chief of staff. 2 of her children are on the autism spectrum. And we spend some time with it. We've had some good stories with them. In fact, the deputy chief and I are allowed to hang out with them, which is funny. There's a lot of stuff is funny. It's a big deal. It is a big, so what I started thinking was how my daughter back in the day went through the Chinese immersion school. And you realize that that word in and of itself is important. How do you really learn something? And it's through exposure, through immersion. And so many of you may know about that blue envelope thing going around. So an initiative was started on the state level where we took them, you know, we volunteered, we got a stack of blue envelopes. What the blue envelopes do is they are given to individuals with autism that drive. And obviously in order to reduce any potential harm or, you know,
Misunderstanding.
improper understanding of what we're dealing with, the individuals are told, just present the envelope, essentially, right? And there's an education both ways between police and individuals with autism. So taking that, because we never settle, I added another layer to it. And I said, I talked to Aaron, I said, it would be really great for us to be able to further immerse our officers with people with autism so that you truly get to know somebody. Now they all present differently, but at the same time, the more examples we have that can ride around with our officers, right? So it's tough. It's not going to be an easy implementation, but obviously my vision is that we will put individuals with autism in cars with our officers so that they can go back and forth and start to understand each other better. They'll be sort of like an extra car. We're not going to put them in a like an active response car, but it's certainly going to be a simulation of actual police work. The individuals, the caretakers of these individuals will be close by, if not in the car. And this is the plan. So we have now added another agency or two with the help of Aaron. We're branching out to several different agencies. We have several different contacts. We're probably going to be meeting at some point in September to really try to figure out how we can roll this out. But that's essentially what it'll be, is it'll be more you can sit in the classroom all day long and talk about autism. But like many other things, you don't understand it until you've lived in it and seen it and experienced it. And again, I'm hoping through that exposure between that and our officers, many more have a better understanding of this. And we're going to try to hopefully rotate everybody through to get a little bit of glimpse of
Yeah, the
what.
blue envelopes available.
Yeah. I think we have a stack of PD. If not, we can get
They
more.
were-
I was gonna say they were in the lobby, but I'm not. sure if
Agencies had to
they're-
volunteer, but I can't imagine any that didn't. So we sent people down to grab a stack. And I'm sure we can get more. So, but again, this is just yet another initiative where we're trying to bridge the gap between different demographics and groups of people and us. So I'm excited about it. We're having it's really gaining a lot of steam. So hopefully next time we'll have something to report.
Yeah, I'd like to
Where
get.
they actually have some ride-alongs done by
I'd like
that.
to get some of that blue envelope.
The good part is we got Aaron, because Aaron will help. Her children are ready. They're ready. They want to go do it already. So it won't be long bursts of time. There'll be a couple hour tour, something like that. Obviously, you're not going to go on an 8-hour shift. So, but I think it's a good thing. Anytime we can educate ourselves to be more compassionate you can't put a price tag.
Absolutely. Questions?
I have one question. There's been a little bit of information on the internet about a stop sign at Coleraine Road. Can we ask?
Yeah, so
about that?
that was not put out by anyone that we know or not authorized or anything. I was actually planning to take a ride out to see if it's been removed since after this.
Okay.
I also saw the same thing,
At
so
Brook Road?
it's in that area. We've been
We
having
talked
some
about
very significant complaints about speeding in those areas. When I worked the triathlon, I was at that intersection and I was in the middle of the road like this. They're coming down off of Brook Road, which unless you're laying on your brakes, it's impossible to
It's a steep. hill.
yeah, it's a steep hill. It is what it is. I mean, we all find ourselves getting carried away on, listening to the music, windows down, whatever it is. But so we have directives, officers have been out there, we've been doing enforcement, but it appears someone took it upon themselves to put a sign out, which is unsafe because it was forcing people to slam on their brakes.
That's
So
why I
yes, thank
asked
you for
about
letting
it.
me, yes, yes.
Because I wanted to make sure that we were doing the right thing.
Yes, no,
I had no
I saw
idea.
that as well, and I believe it was addressed, so my plan after this was to take a ride and make sure it's not there anymore.
Isn't that called the country road syndrome or something like
Yes,
that?
like
When you're
something like
riding
that,
along
yeah.
Country road, and also you look down and you go, oh my
Mr.
God, I
Chairman?
didn't realize I was going that fast.
You can ask them.
Okay, I do have a question, but it's for any one of you. As I sit looking out the window, people, a lot of people are in the motorized bicycles and stuff, and I see so many potential accidents happening in front of me. I want to see it.
The window of the
But,
substation?
Yes,
Okay.
all around Main Street. So what can we do about it?
So there is already an ordinance. Is this people on the sidewalk or in the street?
No, on this side?
Okay, so
No,
that's
sidewalks.
illegal. You can't do that. So skateboarding, rollerblading, bicycling in the business district
Yeah.
is a citable. And so that, all we have to do is just increase the enforcement,
On the sidewalks.
the sidewalk.
Yeah.
In the business, you can't do that in the business.
Now, the motorized bicycles, are they required to have a helmet on?
Nope. Nope. So we just at his request, I published it on our Facebook page. All the breakdown of the laws relative to e-bikes. So the e-bikes, what it looks to me is there's a toggle at the 20-mile-an-hour range. And apparently there's a tag on these e-bikes that tell you what they're capable of. They're supposed to be. Of course, people customize their own bikes, but in a perfect world, you could walk up and say, okay, this one does X, this one does Y, and then it determines the category of e-bike that it is. And if it's an e-bike designed to go over 20 miles an hour, it has to be a motorcycle. And it can't go where bicycles can go. It's got to go where normal
Motor vehicles.
traffic goes, right? But the ones that are tagged as being under 20, you have to view them as a bicycle. It's a bicycle, which means anybody over 16 years old doesn't have to wear a
Okay.
But any
helmet.
bicycle.
Has to, but we don't cite them. We just get a helmet.
What are the laws with street bicycles? Do they have to follow the same laws, yield sign, stop sign, red, white, is that correct?
Yes.
And then separately, is there a publication on that separate, or is it just part of the general?
We had to, the city had to adopt the bike laws, and I believe we did.
Section 85, right?
Yeah.
They have to stop at crosswalks too, don't they?
Technically, they're supposed to follow the same rules.
Okay,
Right side of the road.
Yeah.
Stops,
just
yields.
wanted to make sure.
Did you say section 85? You have a.
Chapter 85.
Chapter.
Part of legal updates training,
Yeah, I mean, they
which I
just,
had to just get.
Is that
rid of.
right? Chapter 85?
No, I don't
They're
think
doing
so.
the bike stuff.
I
Yeah.
think 85 or 87.
Good right now.
No,
This is a
89.
big deal right now.
It's a little more complicated than it should be, but
Yeah, there's a lot to them and they're ever changing, unfortunately. And what I said, we had the fatality, we had an e-bike fatality in Line Woods. And immediately, we already knew that this is how things happen. I said, this will wake people up. And then all of a sudden you'll have the acts of 2025 that address the e-bike thing. And regulations will increase. We're our own worst enemies, people.
Send it to me.
They'll make
It's right online.
mistakes, people will die, and they'll make more rules that regulate e-bikes. You're gonna see that expand and evolve. It's gonna happen. They're everywhere.
I
So
have one.
what
awesome.
can we do
I've never heard.
to increase enforcement?
When I'm walking in, when I go down Main Street, I always tell them, get out, you can't be on, I educate them, you gotta leave the sidewalk. You
And
can't
so
do
we've
that.
been having those conversations. It's not the same people all the time, but I think she's definitely been taking the opinion of the education before the citation, but maybe that's what needs to start
You
happening.
would put a couple
Exactly.
little signs up.
Exactly, because I've seen the same people,
Maybe some signs, but this is a business district to tell people.
The other thing is I'd like to let people know that helmets do save lives. And,
Right.
and that message getting out somehow in a flyer, and email and some kind of a town-wide Facebook and stuff like that.
There used to be a grant, we did this a few times. I wrote the grant, they'd send us 100 helmets of all various sizes. We'd hop in our van and we go up to the
The Rotary Club's
different
been
apartment
doing
complexes and hand them out.
a distribution.
And I love the idea, it's just that I'd like to see people safer,
Absolutely.
having to go to an accident.
I wear a
is not
helmet.
good.
I don't know, maybe like, It flies. My bike is fast. It can,
20 miles an hour is very fast
Yeah.
for a bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can get killed on a bicycle at 20
We have
minutes. And
scooters go by us.
the racers, they go at 29.
Guy just proved it. He just proved it. He died. We got to
Terrible.
experience that.
that's a shame.
Mayor,
All right,
did you have
any-
a question or were you stretching? I thought,
I'll wait till you're done. I have comments on almost everything that came up, but
No, do you really?
I'll be quick.
Do you want
You have to let the mayor come right now.
Do you want to come up?
If you like.
Are you all set? Are you all done?
I think, unless you have any questions of me, I can talk forever, but we don't need that.
All right, thank you.
Can I make one quick comment? I was recently able to go to the police station and see some of the upgrades that happened and get a tour. It's very.
Oh, you went in?
did a great job.
Oh,
yeah.
nice, good.
Got to see the new dispatch area, and then the substation, yeah, looks.
You going to the
great, too.
report station area?
Yeah,
Out
yeah,
there, good.
yeah, went
Yeah,
and
we're
saw all of
happy.
it. Good to
We
see
actually-
first jail cell. and
We had an
everything.
officer who'd been on vacation. He came into my office today, stopped specifically just to say, Chiefs, thank you.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know, it looks so good in here. I've been on vacation and I'm so happy. I wanted to make sure you knew that. That's what it's about. Thank you.
Thank you.
by the way, she didn't pass the sobriety test.
Yes, I did. I was the best one out of all of y'all.
I didn't get.
Maybe just go through in the tour, y'all had to.
Glad you came.
practice Doing the, I actually was the only one who had sneakers on. That's true. That's part of the reason why I think. Everybody else had flip flops and stuff on.
Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you. Oh, well, you had one more thing on your agenda though, right?
Yes, we do.
Why don't you finish that and then I'll go? You have something?
Are
on
you sure?
everything you talk- Yeah, I'm gonna sit up
And
here,
we're
but I
gonna
have something on
provide
everything.
security.
You gonna stay up here? You can if you want.
Provide
I
security.
think she's
Okay.
pretty secure.
Let's move on. Mr. Lenoy, the floor is yours.
Okay, and I'm gonna make it brief tonight. No, I am. The chair and I have had a lot of conversations, and I think we have had some conversations on, the ever-changing landscape with post role of a public safety commission. So, and I'm not trying to insult my fellow commissioners. I'm sure you've read the charter with respect to what it says about a public safety commission. I find myself, as I get older, getting involved in more and more projects, and in my general counsel role, I do a lot of work around post. It's a complicated thing, and I don't want to take up a lot of time here. But what I would like to do is to start to have conversations about our role, and where I find in my research that there's something I could do to weigh in, because I think it's important for us, and like what I heard tonight, the mayor has to go to the council. The council is the council. I want us to be in a position to support. That our role is to support the mayor and oversee the departments. I want us to have a sense of what we can do, what we can't do, and how we can support the overall program. Because the municipality doesn't have unlimited funds, and we know that. But how do we become proactive as a commission? I love it that you guys come here every month and give us information. I don't know that I feel comfortable that we're given enough of that. And so I'm saying that, for instance, there's a progressive discipline line here. I can tell you as an attorney, I don't know what it means in light of post and civil service and non-civil service. And that's just one small issue. But, the big picture issues, the budget, what the needs of the agencies are, how we coordinate with the mayor on budget prep, and then what supporting role can we play? I understand that people on the council have opinions, and I don't want to frustrate the First Amendment, and everybody has a right to those opinions. What I worry about sometimes is that an opinion becomes the basis for the policy, and then we lose something in the mix. And so I didn't want to spend a lot of time anyway, just to sort of call this to our attention. It's a unique situation, because when you're a board of selectmen, you're a police commissioner. When a mayor is elected, this is the model. And I was on the charter commission when it was written. And that's a long time ago. It was 2003. And I think the only amendment to it has really been to expand the number. So with this expanded number, I'd like to see us do things that are helpful in a substantive way. But I don't know what they are. So that's all I
I can
have.
help you with that.
Okay, so that's all I have on that.
Isn't this taken from like Springfield? It was written
So
into the
it was
charter.
modeled after Westfield,
Westfield, okay.
but there was a huge argument about the powers of the commission, as you remember, I don't.
Yeah.
Had skeletons.
Paul, did you call him the oath?
Well, you can call me old.
Yes.
That's all I have, Chairman.
Get in line, guys.
Any comments or questions?
Just a little correction that should go on this. Yeah, it's consisting of 5 members.
Yeah, this isn't the most updated.
That's not the most, no, and that's,
Updated one.
and that's off our website, so.
So I would agree with the vice chair. Couple things have happened. Couple things have happened this week. I've got some phone calls over the last couple of weeks about several things. One is, as all we know, the debate about the parking lot that, is the parking lot with the old Hope Street parking lot. And public folks have asked us, is there any, whatever goes in there, I don't have an opinion what goes in there, as a public safety commissioner. But some people have asked me, how will that affect the police and fire department? I was asked by a bunch of people. It's a valid question. It's a good question. It doesn't matter what's going in. It doesn't matter if it's gonna stay a parking lot or if it's gonna be condos or retail space. But I, as a public safety commissioner, get asked these questions. How will that, I've got several questions on how is Wilson's, the development of Wilson's gonna affect the police and fire department? I don't have the answers to those questions. But it would be nice to know if it does affect the departments positively, meaning, does it bring revenue into the departments? Could it bring revenue? Does it bring revenue into the city, which helps the department budgets? Those are questions that a regular public safety commissioner asks. Should we have the answers to those questions? I don't know.
Any answers would be guesses.
Yeah.
First of all, we don't know what's going in there. So I can tell you enough, it remains a parking lot. Okay, well, we were there before. I would recommend it's a charge parking. And the whole point is to bring revenue into the city, right? That's what we need to
Sure.
do with land in the city. Housing, I know that whatever housing's in there is going to hopefully be market rate or higher. So there's some income, probably better, more consistent income to the city. More people, our population is gonna be our population, I don't know. The Wilsons alike, what is it gonna be? I don't know. It's gonna be a long walk for officers to get to the residential places, right? To the individual apartments. It's like, kind of like the Mill House. You've been in the Mill House. Some of them apartments takes you a good 5 minutes to get your butt in there and out and around to them. And I'm assuming that's kind of gonna be the size of that. It's a big building.
Yeah.
So, call response will be a little delayed, but as a police, I'm not afraid of adding the units.
No, it's, to me, it's not a debate of what is going in there. It's just a general question on how public safety can help and can we get involved? Like, for instance, and I'm gonna be right up front, I didn't know anything about this regionalization until I read it in the paper. And I'm wondering, should Public Safety Commission be involved in something like that? We could give good information, we could give perspective. What can we do here that involves the charter to help our departments? I mean, we're here to help AMR, the police department and the fire departments. And I agree with David, at some point in time, when this city goes into changing their charter, we really gotta look hard at, is the charter, in the language in the charter, for the benefit of the people and for the departments of Greenfield? Because he's right, we're not gonna discipline an employee of yours. We're gonna expect you to do that. We could have concerns if an incident happens, if you come to us and say a police officer did this, this, and this. We will have concerns.
You guys have to do chief level stuff because
Right,
there's nobody
sure.
else.
No,
So you guys
exactly.
have to pay attention to what's happening on the chiefs.
Sure.
I think there's
That's
already plenty of
understandable.
processes in
Yeah.
place to deal with the rest, right? So there's IA, we have an IA unit, right? And if it's too close to us, we by default will send that to another agency.
No, I get all that. I understand all that,
Well, but
but
I'm
you have
saying
to
it makes sense
understand
that you
what's,
don't.
you have to understand what's it says in the charter that, you know, that we're supposed to be responsible for, right? I mean, there are definitely some things in the charter that maybe someone reading the charter says, oh, public safeties can do that, or they're responsible for that. And we're actually not. Yes, absolutely.
So I have a few things to say on that. The charter can be, if you got 7 lawyers in a room, you could get 7 different opinions on
Absolutely.
whatever that is.
You might get
This board
14.
is gonna,
You might
what
get
do what it's
14.
gonna do, and I will tell you that as the mayor of this city, I could use some help. And that's why I'm here tonight. You can put me on for another meeting if you want me to speak more, because it's the end of the night. So I'll try to be quick, because I get the end of the night and everybody's tired, okay? So I'm gonna go quick. We talked one thing about communication. I'm here to communicate with you. I would like to ask you personally to send to me and the mayor's office events that you were talking about, like that September 12th thing. We need to know when things are happening so that we can be there.
So are you talking about the
Yeah,
CAC
something-
breakfast or the Special Olympics Tipica?
All of it.
Send the
Okay, all of it.
dates.
So,
All of it.
all
I
right.
need to know, and I'm here to
Yeah.
share information with you, because there are things that intersect that you need to know about. I hear you talking about the lot and, you know, folks that are coming. I would hate to see this board ever politicized. I think that there's a lot, this is gonna be like a little dog fight on one issue, but you would never want any board, I would never want any board to be politicized. I can tell you what is coming, communication wise. 176 Main Street, supposed to be 32 units. 60 Well Street, 36 SROs and 25 shelter beds. The Wilson's Project, 61. Up on Stone Farm Road, 24 units. The Hope Street lot, who knows? I was hoping for commercial on the bottom floor and market rate above. You know, looking at all of the utilities, et cetera, is something, we've done some research there, but the RFP, if it gets that far, that will be looked into. But there's lots of units that are coming in, and there's a lot of fear whenever there's any change. We would be lucky to have more people coming here. There's also a great fear that that there's a decline in population. We have more than enough jobs for people. There are jobs at NEXT. There are multiple jobs.
Job's right next to you, this
Yes.
gentleman.
Right. I have huge needs at DPW. I have needs in the schools. We have all kinds of private and public jobs that are here, but we don't have enough housing. But mostly I wanted to talk about the things where I think that we intersect and the things where we could use some help. I went up to the police station this week. When I drove in, there was one car in the carport. There was one car there. I didn't actually realize that we kept the ones that were offline. Since I've been in, we've gotten 5 cars, 2 right away and then 3 more. I can't do this by myself. I saw David Lanoy talking about putting it in the budget. I opted not to put it in the budget, and I'm glad I didn't. I felt that I could sell it better through capital, and that is the way that it's going to go, because I know this council, so I'm asking for a few things. I need people like you or your friends, or your wives or significant others, to come on the night of the capital committee and talk about this, because it's me and the chief. We're talking about it. I do have a plan with the vehicles. We get Carol Collins together and Paul Newell. He's now the deputy chief, by the way, and the superintendent. The superintendent, we have an overall plan. We're trying to bring the schools into that, and hopefully I make a little headway this year where we have some changes coming along. But I can't get the things passed without people coming from public safety. Unfortunately, there is a political climate where nobody was putting their name in for running for city council. And the city council will be leaning, perhaps my guess is after the next election, even more liberally, okay? And that doesn't involve having a lot of public safety vehicles passed. You all need to be there. You need to be there, you need to speak. And the next time around, we need to get people in so that the whole is represented. And it's a tough job, just like this one is. You don't get anything for it, but it helps the city to move forward. I can't do that without you. He knows this. I advocated for that. We got the fire things that we needed. But when it comes to policing, that is the one where people, it's just, it's universal. It's not just Massachusetts, I would say nationally. It's very tough to get things done. You'll get the vehicles passed for fire more than you will for police. It's just a fact. So I need your help with that. I would hope that all 6 of you would be present. It's one night a year when the capital projects come up. I'll need 3 more of them. We have a council that is very pro electric vehicles. Someone just wrote an ordinance themselves. That wasn't checked with our energy department or anyone else. It just came forward and it will be voted on this month but we already had something pretty good in place. We can't do this without help. All right,
What council's the
city
third
council.
Wednesday of any
No,
month?
when's
It's
the
the third.
capital?
The capital will be probably in April
It'll
or
be
May,
April,
and
May.
I will let you know.
Thank you.
We need the communication back and forth. That's why I'm here.
One comment real quick, Mayor, with respect to that. What Megan is doing, us getting out in the public.
Right.
And joining events, starting DARE programs, this is gonna help in the long run. It's gonna get the community to know the police better, and hopefully they'll show up these meetings too.
Yes.
Because it's not just getting public safety or employees to show up. We need the public to show up at these meetings and express their opinion. It happens all the time for certain groups of people. But there's a lot of people that don't show up at these meetings and don't express their opinion that have other ideas, and those are
And
you
they're
gotta
home.
start getting,
They're at home.
they're at home. That's the bottom line, is they're
That's
at
the
home.
problem, is that they're at home.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank you for being at Beacon of Light Preschool yesterday, along with Matt Llewellyn. I just received a text from Father Pierce just before, while this was going on, about how much he appreciated public safety, especially in light of what happened in Minneapolis today. So the opening of the preschool is today, and he particularly reached out and mentioned public safety going forward, just to put that in your. But there are some other issues that arise. I think of our Department of Public Works as part of public safety as well. And I think I'm having more and more things that intersect with them. And I'd like to kind of put that discussion out there a little bit. When you're talking about traffic, one of the things that we have all kinds of, people come to us, they actually walk into DPW and will be asking for signs. Could we have stop signs here? Can we have stop signs there? This is something where the police department and the Department of Public Works intersect. And I think we need to have, and I won't belabor it for tonight, but just within the past couple of weeks, there's a couple of signs that probably will be going on High Street about slowing down due to citizen complaints. This didn't go through any formal process. It went through myself and Paul Newell, and I think I talked to you about it, but they come about in a way that's not the right manner. We should be doing it together. We need to decide about some of these things together. Another thing that we're having a big problem with, besides the traffic, which I really would like a process for that, and I'm happy to come, next month, because I'm talking about this late, but is our unhoused settlements and the public safety issues that arise as a result of that. We have like ad hoc committees that are going in and they picked up the trash or this, that, and the other thing. That my department, the third wing of public safety in my book, DPW, the most, they are critically understaffed, okay? With the highest vacancy rate. We can't put this on them. We need to work together to get this done, and it needs to be a sensible plan, okay? You know what I mean? I mean, like a really sensible plan. We can't have trash barrels that are at a place that is inaccessible to our DPW departments, that's gonna be work-related back injuries. We can't put a dumpster there because we'll have all the city of Greenfield putting their trash in there because nobody wants to pay for it. But it affects the waterways. It gets into the water. So we can't what is that word? Compartment.
Compartmentalize.
Yes, we can't do that anymore. I need your help with that. It's a big problem, and the people who are working to solve it right now, let's just say this. We could use a more cohesive approach to that, okay? We're bringing back the public, this is my last one, and I'd love to be put on this again. We're bringing back the problem properties group. This is public safety.
Absolutely.
This is public safety. If you have a house, we have people who have degrees in squatting. They have their masters in squatting. They've been there for 10 years. There's an overdose death on the front lawn. The neighbors are complaining because they cannot use their yards. They're not feeling safe in their yards. They are not feeling safe to call the police or the fire department. And yet these, as I said, I've spoken to an attorney about this. They have a degree, a master's degree, figuratively, in squatting. They will call the Board of Health and complain about that the building is not safe. Then the Board of Health, even though they've paid no rent in 10 years, the Board of Health must go to say it's safe, okay? It's habitable. They're doing that. This landlord who's not received any money in years must go and make this there. Meanwhile, again, overdose deaths on the front lawn and people who are afraid to call the police. We're trying to get everybody together. But in the end, I need help with this. I'm calling other mayors. What do you do? In the end, the landlord fixes whatever it is. You finally get your day in court. What happens? You call the squatters will call the fire, they'll call an ambulance. So they can't make their day in court. Okay, so what do we do with this? Additionally, if the Board of Health stops going, the squatters are now calling the mayor's office to report on the Board of Health. This is a pervasive problem that I can't solve by myself. That's why we're doing the problem properties, but we have a few of them here. We have a sale that didn't go through in the downtown area with squatting, because it is in Massachusetts, all of the rules kind of go, all of the laws, I guess you would say, they go towards making sure that we're taking care of the people who are housed. But here we have a problem with squatting, and that really gets to public safety. So I think it's a bigger discussion. I'd like to be, and the regionalization, people are walking into my office. I have more to say on that. I have had FERCog, the state police. People are coming to me because other municipalities are no longer able to do this by themselves. We have to think bigger than this. I was at something with Bernston and Leiden the other night, where they're working together to merge a few things, because everybody with the leaping insurance costs, we can't afford to do this the same way. We need a plan. Does everybody need a fireboat? Well, I don't really think so. I'm not a pro in this, mind you. Like I would say you were a pro, but I know how many rivers there are, and I know how many towns are next to it. And I know when I went to that, okay, and I'm like, if you all have a fireboat, I think you gotta get one. But everybody thinks they need their own fireboat. Meanwhile, while that's happening, we actually do need cruisers. And we actually need a lot of work done up at the transfer station before that. You think those, and your vehicles are in a terrible state, but there are some in DPW that look like they're eaten. I got in one. It looks like the seat was eaten. That's not safe. And those people
That
are.
was by the employees.
Yes, and so we need to do, we need a plan for that. And that I would like to have a bigger discussion, perhaps at the next meeting, if you would have me, on the regionalization and what I know about that. And that's a very tough subject to take up, because it involves, the minute you start talking about it, people would be worrying about their jobs, which I've had a couple of conversations with the fire chief or the police chief just by themselves, because I wasn't sure exactly how else to do that. Because if you talk about regionalizing something, it involves our beloved employees.
Sure.
So we can talk about that, but this thing about the things that we buy, our towns, our neighboring communities aren't gonna do it. We're talking about, you know, the Public Health Excellence Grant, it was geared towards putting a few municipalities together for a health program. We've got to start thinking about that. And when you get there and you get to those meetings, just with those two little towns, you can see the, you know, my town thing that comes through. There are many that know, but it's the greater good, the taking care of everyone that I'm asking for your help with. So maybe the next time.
Can I just weigh in real quick?
Yes.
I just want to thank you so much for coming tonight. You're busy.
Yeah.
We want to be part of it. And I don't want to speak for all my colleagues. My general counsel role for the Hampshire Sheriff is almost 80% of this process of squatting. And it's a quagmire.
It is.
It is an absolute quagmire. So, you know, we need to work together on all of it. And I think that if, I don't know if you could do it every month, but maybe every other month. You know, come to us, and this is, to me, you know, I don't want to stay till 10 o'clock, but I would. Because it's worth
It is.
the time to figure out how, and you're talking about parochialism, and you know, it's been 35 years in the sheriff's office. Everybody wants to help everybody, but everybody also wants to know that their jobs aren't gonna go away. And that's such a significant problem. No, I mean, I'm a major fan of our police department. And I don't want them to suffer staffing because someone else helps, but we also need to work together. And it becomes so complicated. Sometimes I think Massachusetts has mastered ways to make things harder than they are. And you know, your point about the vote, that's a great example. I want mine, I want mine, I want mine. And people feel that they have to fight for that, otherwise they will become less relevant. But they won't. Collaborations work, we see them working, because we never have enough help.
Special response team encompasses many jurisdictions, all of whom are sharing the same resource.
But
And they
we
get the
need
same
to
thing done.
start talking about it because the other towns are. I've had people come in and say, I have this part of my city that nobody responds to for an ambulance. Okay? I learned all about fire districts and this, that, and the other thing. This problem is bigger than me. I came into this, I'm a retired nurse, I'm not a firefighter, not a police officer, and I don't have a law degree. But I know that we need help and we need to work together. And I think we should put some things on for right away. There are things that other people are making decisions on, and quite frankly, like like trash and the homeless and the encampments, we need some other level-headed folks weighing in on those things. I need that now. It's being done without you. And I think that you just need to know what the decisions, you know, some of them, we need to make them together.
I have a question about that meeting that you had. We were not part of that when we weren't invited.
Which
The regionalization.
it was in other towns. And I went for a walk with Kathy DiMatteo from the select board in Leiden. She asked me to come just to listen, not to speak, but I listened to them. Because we have similar things where people have come to me and said, could you absorb us? A town that asked, could we absorb them?
Mayor, I was asking about the meeting that was held here at the fire department. For
Ed Markey, the Senator Ed Markey one?
for the regionalization of.
No, that was on the Comiers. I actually wasn't there for that. I was away with my grandchildren. They usually tell us when they're like a senator to tell us they're coming for something.
We weren't invited.
The code, well, and I actually, could I just say something about that one? In the end, the sheriff called me. The sheriff called me about it. She was like, we were asked to provide something about that, and I'm like, okay. I was for the clear stood. I won't say that out loud because I heard about it, it's the radio
You just
effect. Yeah, I know. But we get a better explanation of that, but for anything that I have not invited you to, that I knew about, I sincerely apologize. That one,
It was just, that it says public safety, and then people are asking us questions.
Right.
We didn't even know it was, yeah.
right.
So
And we
the
can
only-
even sit down and talk about how we communicate. Like anything that I haven't done, I'm sure I could do better on 5 fronts. So I have from this day forward, but I would just say to you, there are multiple things that I think that we could start working on, instead of going through the budget and looking at, oh, this looks good, but this person asked for it. It's larger than that, but I'm gonna go because I've been taking up enough of your time.
And all.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll communicate more and we'll.
You didn't take up too much time.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
did.
Well, I'd like to come again.
I'm gonna drop a seed, so that comes from a lot of
Thank
what
you,
we talked
Mayor.
about. My opinion after, and the mayor and I hung out the other day and did a little tour of the town. And she's absolutely 100% correct in some things relative to DPW. Our DPW is struggling really, really bad right
I
now,
attest to that.
to the extent that some can't even understand it. I think we need to bring some relevance to our DPW. And I would like to help Paul help market that stuff, but I think we got to put him in a seat at the table. If we're going to modernize and make them more relevant, then they need some help. The way I explained it to the mayor is if you go around to the DPW, everybody else is doing these things and everything they have, with the exception of the new trucks that will be destroyed because of what they do in 5 months, looks like it's from 1963. Okay, now, we're not gonna change this overnight, but we gotta start doing the broken windows theory with DPW. So they need to start feeling proud. They don't have that. If you go up to this, like I told her, I said, if you go up to this transfer station right now and Paul's trying to recruit people, if I walk up to the transfer station and I look for 1 second, I'm gonna say, I assume I'm gonna get probably less than minimum wage at this place, because it's a dump. It's a dump. But the other analogy I said was, just because it's a dump doesn't mean it has to look like one. They have, the irony is, there's not one structure in that entire place that's been weed whacked. This is the DPW. There is plants growing in their gutters. They have the trucks. This is the irony. They don't have the people. They are so hurting for people.
Or the facilities.
The facilities are absolutely uninhabitable. It's bad. So my point is, I think to add some relevance to them, let's invite, they are the third public safety. They should present to you and tell you where they're at and the things they're doing, the struggles they're having. They should come once a month too. They're paving our streets, they come out in the middle of winter, they plow, they do these things, they absolutely are. Let's recognize them, let's promote them. We'll help market them, and let's get the DPW on its feet.
Also,
Yes.
visual capabilities. In other words, there's certain areas, certain streets, certain driveways and stuff like that that are so overgrown, you can't see around them. It's not a safe situation to try and enter
We're
another
gonna collaborate,
intersection.
let's just plant the seed. Maybe they should be here with us each month.
Yeah.
That's my-
Yeah.
There's so much more, so we can ask for further things for the agenda, and I will be here at your, at your will, and I think I will do my best to communicate. But I'd be better coming. I don't type, so I won't. Things, so that's not gonna happen. I'm not sending an email all about it, but I'm happy to come. And thank you very much.
Well, our next date is at the 99 for Tippecanoe at 5 p.m. Okay, thanks. See you on the 12th.
Bring your wallets.
Any additional comments from public safety commissioners?
I just wanted to share that, having that partnership with the sheriff's department, that young man is awesome. He's very, very respectful. Everybody loves him. I love working with him.
Go
So,
ahead.
Jake McLean.
Okay, great.
Jake McLean.
Any other comments? Anybody have anything to say?
Good to see you.
To see you.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Someone's.
A second?
Second.
Everybody,
Getting yelled.
aye?
Aye.
Thank you. And,